The autumn rain hammered against the asphalt of downtown Portland, turning the street into a mirror of neon reflections. Maya Chen pressed herself against the brick wall of the grocery store parking lot, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. Through the downpour she could see Derek's silver sedan circling the block for the third time, his headlights cutting through the darkness like searchlights. She'd left him 6 months ago, changed her number, moved apartments, filed a restraining order. None of it mattered. He always found her. Her phone buzzed with another message, then another. She didn't need to read them to know what they said. The same obsessive declarations, the same threats wrapped in claims of love, the same promise that if he couldn't have her, nobody would. Maya's hands trembled as she looked around desperately. The parking lot was emptying fast as the storm intensified. Her rideshare app showed a 20-minute wait. 20 minutes was an eternity when Derek was hunting. That's when she saw it. A line of motorcycles parked under the building's overhang, sheltered from the rain. Big bikes, gleaming chrome despite the weather. Harleys mostly. The closest one was a massive Road King, its black and chrome body shop perfect, its leather saddlebags embossed with an unfamiliar patch. A compass rose with wings. Derek's car turned onto her street again. Maya didn't think. She ran. Her soaking sneakers splashed through puddles as she reached the motorcycle. The helmet hung from the handlebars, full face, tinted visor. She grabbed it, jammed it over her head, and swung her leg over the seat. The bike was huge, far bigger than anything she'd ever been near, but she made herself small, hunching forward, praying the helmet and rain would make her invisible. Derek's sedan crawled past. She could see him through the passenger window, his face twisted in concentration, scanning every doorway, every shadow. The car stopped directly beside her. Maya held her breath. Her entire body had gone rigid. Through the helmet's visor, she watched Derek's head turn, his eyes sweeping across the line of motorcycles. For one terrible moment she thought he saw her. His gaze lingered, then his car rolled forward. Taillights disappearing around the corner. She stayed frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. "That's my bike." The voice came from behind her, deep, calm, carrying easily over the rain. Maya's head snapped around. A man stood 5 feet away, water streaming off his leather jacket. He was tall, broad-shouldered, probably in his mid-40s, with grey threading through dark hair pulled back in a short ponytail. His vest bore the same compass rose patch she'd seen on the saddlebags, along with a rocker that read President above Iron Compass MC. Maya's voice cracked. She fumbled with the helmet, pulling it off. "I'm so sorry. I wasn't going to steal it. Easy." He held up one hand, his expression unreadable. "You running from that silver sedan?" She nodded, water and tears mixing on her face. "He come back around?" "He always comes back around." The man, the president apparently, studied her for a long moment. His eyes were dark, assessing but not unkind. Behind him other figures emerged from the store entrance. More leather vests, more patches. The Iron Compass MC, she realized. A whole club. Marcus. A woman's voice, firm and matter-of-fact. A rider in her 30s approached, her vest marked Road Captain. "What's the situation?" "Lady's got trouble with a stalker. Silver sedan. Been circling." Marcus kept his eyes on Maya. "How long's this been going on?" 6 months since I left him. He violated the restraining order 4 times. Police can't seem to make it stick." The road captain, her patch read Jess, exchanged a glance with Marcus. "We giving her a ride somewhere safe?" "Yeah." Marcus moved closer to his bike, his movements deliberate and unhurried. "We are. What's your name?" "Maya." "Maya, I'm Marcus. This is Jess. That silver car comes back while you're with us. He's not getting near you. Understand?" She nodded again, something in her chest loosening slightly. These were strangers, bikers no less, but the steady certainty in Marcus's voice made her believe him. "Where do you need to go?" Jess asked. "My apartment." "But he knows where." "Not tonight, you don't." Marcus swung onto his bike with practiced ease. "Tonight you're going to the clubhouse. Tomorrow we figure out the rest. That work for you?" Maya hesitated only a second. The alternative was going home alone, knowing Derek would be waiting. "Yes, thank you." "Put the helmet back on. Sit tight behind me, feet on the passenger pegs. Hold onto the grab rail or my shoulders, whichever's comfortable. We clear. Clear. As Maya settled behind Marcus, the rest of the Iron Compass MC mounted their bikes. Engines rumbled to life one by one, a deep collective growl that vibrated through her entire body. The sound was powerful, almost overwhelming, but somehow reassuring. Jess took point, her headlight cutting through the rain. Marcus pulled out second, and Maya felt the Road King surge forward with smooth, controlled power. Behind them, 8 more bikes formed up in a tight, staggered formation, their presence solid and protective. They rode through Portland's rain-slicked streets, the convoy moving as one unit. The sound of 10 engines echoed off buildings, announcing their passage. Through downtown, across the Morrison Bridge, where the Willamette River churned dark below, then east into the industrial district. Maya had never been on a motorcycle before. The sensation was strange, exposed yet somehow safe within the formation. She could feel the coordination between riders, the way they moved together through traffic, covering each other, maintaining formation. This wasn't chaos. This was discipline. The clubhouse turned out to be a converted warehouse, its exterior unassuming except for the compass rose painted above the roll-up door. The formation pulled into the lot, bikes backing into their designated spaces with choreographed precision. Inside, the space was surprisingly warm. Pool table, bar, comfortable furniture. Framed photos on the walls showed club runs, charity events, veterans' rallies. An American flag hung alongside the club colors. A woman in her 50s approached, her vest marked Club Mom. "This the one Marcus radioed about?" "Yeah, Maya, this is Carol. She'll get you sorted with dry clothes and something hot to drink." Marcus pulled off his wet jacket. "You hungry?" Yes, actually." "Good. Sit tight. We're going to make some calls." As Carol led her toward a back room with a clothes donation bin, Maya heard Marcus speaking quietly to Jess and another rider whose patch read, "Sergeant at Arms." "Call the precinct. Ask for Sergeant Morrison. He's solid, worked with us on the toy run. Find out what the deal is with this restraining order that keeps getting violated with no consequences. And somebody pull up traffic cams from downtown. Get a plate on that silver sedan. Legal channels only. We document everything." Maya felt something shift inside her. For 6 months she'd been alone in this nightmare. For 6 months the system had failed her repeatedly, and now, within an hour of meeting these people, they were taking action, organized, purposeful, legal. She pulled on a borrowed hoodie, warm and dry, and accepted the mug of coffee Carol pressed into her hands. Through the doorway she could see the club members gathering, phones out, making calls, pulling up information on laptops. Whatever happened next, she wasn't alone anymore. And Derek's reign of terror was about to run into something he'd never encountered before. A community that protected its own, with the discipline and resources to do it right. Chapter 2. Building the Case. Morning light filtered through the clubhouse windows as Maya woke on the couch in Carol's office, disoriented for a moment before the previous night came rushing back. She sat up, finding a folded blanket and a note. "Coffee in the kitchen. Don't leave without talking to Marcus. Carol." The main room was already active despite the early hour. Marcus stood at a large table covered in papers and laptops, speaking with 3 other members. Maya recognized Jess and the sergeant at arms from last night. The third wore a patch reading VP. "She's awake," Carol announced, appearing with fresh coffee. "Come on, honey, they'll want to talk to you." Marcus looked up as Maya approached. His expression was serious but not unkind. "How'd you sleep?" "Better than I have in months, honestly." "Good. Maya, this is Ryan, our vice president, and that's Tom, sergeant at arms. We've been working since 5 a.m. He gestured to the papers. "Need to ask you some questions. You up for that?" "Yes, whatever you need." Ryan pulled out a chair for her. "We contacted Sergeant Morrison last night. He pulled the case file on your restraining order. Derek Hammond, age 34, financial analyst. No prior criminal record. That right?" Maya nodded. "He's careful. Everything he does, he makes it look ambiguous enough that it doesn't stick." "Not anymore." Jess tapped her laptop screen. "We pulled traffic cam footage from last night. Your ex made 19 passes through that 6-block area over 40 minutes. That's not ambiguous, that's hunting. We've got time-stamped images showing his vehicle at every angle." Morrison's bringing it to the DA this morning, Marcus continued. But here's the problem. Hammond's got resources. Good lawyer, clean record, knows how to work the system. The restraining order violations keep getting pleaded down to warnings. So what do we do? Maya's voice was steadier than she felt. We build a case so airtight they can't ignore it. Tom leaned forward. How many times has he shown up at your workplace? 3 times, but I work from home now because of it. I had to quit my office job. That's economic harm. Document it. Tom made notes. What about your previous apartment? He found me there twice. Once he was just sitting in his car outside. The second time he followed me to the grocery store and tried to corner me in the parking lot. Ryan's jaw tightened. Did you report both incidents? Yes. Both times police said there wasn't enough evidence he was threatening me. He claimed he just happened to be in the neighborhood. Except there's no reason for a financial analyst from the Pearl District to be in your neighborhood in Montevilla. Jess pulled up a map. That's 12 miles, different grocery stores, different everything. We're documenting every incident with locations, times, distances, creating a pattern analysis that shows premeditation. Marcus stood, moving to a whiteboard where someone had created a timeline. Here's what we've got so far. 6 months of documented harassment, 4 restraining order violations, 1 count of stalking by traffic cam evidence from last night, and we're just getting started. A knock at the door interrupted them. Carol answered, revealing a woman in a charcoal suit carrying a briefcase. She was probably in her 40s with sharp eyes and an air of competence. Marcus, good to see you. They shook hands. This must be Maya. Maya Chen. This is Elizabeth Reyes. She's an attorney who works with domestic violence cases. Does a lot of pro bono work with people the system fails. Thought she should hear your story. Elizabeth sat down, pulled out a legal pad, and looked directly at Maya. Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out, even if it seems small. For the next 2 hours, Maya talked. Elizabeth asked precise questions, made detailed notes, occasionally stopping to request clarification. The Iron Compass members listened, adding context, checking details against their documentation. Your ex is sophisticated, Elizabeth said finally. He's gaming the system by staying just inside legal boundaries while creating persistent psychological terror. Classic control behavior from someone who understands how to manipulate institutions. Can you help her? Marcus asked. I can, but it's going to require coordination. Elizabeth turned to Maya. I'll file for an expanded restraining order with specific geographical and electronic contact restrictions. I'm also going to request a stalking charge based on the cumulative evidence. The traffic cam footage from last night is gold. It shows sustained, predatory behavior with clear intent. What does Maya need to do? Jess asked. Stay somewhere he can't find you. Keep documenting everything. And prepare to testify. Elizabeth's expression was sympathetic but firm. This won't be easy. Hammond will have representation, and they'll try to paint you as paranoid or vindictive. We need to show the judge a clear pattern of escalating behavior. She's safe here, Marcus said, for as long as needed. Good, I'll need statements from everyone who witnessed the incident last night. Elizabeth began packing her briefcase. And Marcus, I'll need those traffic camera files in a format I can submit to the court. Already on it. Tom's handling the tech side. After Elizabeth left, Maya felt simultaneously exhausted and energized. For 6 months, she'd felt helpless. Now, watching this group of bikers coordinate with legal professionals, document evidence with meticulous care, and treat her situation with absolute seriousness, something shifted inside her. Why are you doing this? She asked suddenly. You don't know me. Marcus exchanged glances with the others before answering. Iron Compass MC has a code. We protect our community, we respect the law, we don't tolerate predators. You asked for help, inadvertently, by getting on my bike. And we're not the kind of people who walk away from that. Plus, Carol added from the kitchen doorway, 3 of our members are domestic violence survivors. We know what it's like when the system doesn't work fast enough. Ryan stood, stretching. First court date will probably be in 2 to 3 weeks. Between now and then, we maintain documentation. Maya, you're going to need to get some things from your apartment. We'll arrange an escort. Tom and I will go with you, full daylight, document everything. What if Derek shows up? Then we document that too. Tom's voice was flat. We're not confronting him. We're not threatening him. We're simply ensuring your legal right to access your own property. If he appears, we call police immediately, record everything and add it to the case file. It's all about the paper trail, Jess explained. Every action, every encounter, every violation, it all goes in the record. When we get to court, the judge is going to see a comprehensive pattern of behavior that can't be explained away. Maya looked around at these people, bikers in leather vests covered in road dust and patches, who spoke about documentation and legal protocols with the precision of paralegals. The disconnect between appearance and reality was striking. "What if this doesn't work?" she asked quietly. "What if he gets away with it again?" Marcus met her eyes. "Then we appeal. We escalate. We go to the media if necessary. We make enough noise that the system has to respond. But Maya," he leaned forward, his tone absolutely certain, "this is going to work because we're not going to let it fail." The certainty in his voice, backed by the nods from everyone in the room, made Maya believe him. For the first time in 6 months, she felt something she'd almost forgotten: hope. Outside, she could hear more motorcycles arriving, the morning shift apparently. Through the window, she watched riders backing their bikes into formation, greeting each other, moving with the casual discipline of people who knew their roles and trusted their community. She'd stumbled into this world by accident, desperate and afraid. But watching them now, she realized she'd found exactly what she needed: people who turned solidarity into action, who channeled protection through legal channels, who understood that real strength meant having the discipline to do things right. Derek had the system figured out, but he'd never encountered anything like the Iron Compass MC, and his carefully constructed game of psychological terror was about to face something he couldn't manipulate: a community with the resources, knowledge and determination to protect one of their own. Chapter 3. The Confrontation. The courthouse stood imposing under grey October skies, its limestone columns weathered by decades of Portland rain. Maya sat in Elizabeth's car in the parking lot, trying to control her breathing. Through the windshield, she could see Derek's silver sedan 3 rows over. "He's early," Elizabeth checked her watch, "probably hoping to intimidate you in the hallway before we get inside." "That's not going to happen." Marcus's voice came from behind them. Maya turned to see Iron Compass MC arriving, not the full club, but a deliberate presence. Marcus, Jess, Ryan, Tom, and Carol, all in clean jeans and club vests worn over button-down shirts. Respectful of the venue, but not hiding who they were. They'd spent 2 weeks preparing for this moment. 2 weeks of documented evidence, witness statements, traffic analysis, and legal preparation. Derek had violated the restraining order twice more during that time, once appearing at the coffee shop where Maya had met Carol, once driving slowly past the street leading to the clubhouse. Both incidents captured on camera, documented, added to the growing case file. "Remember," Elizabeth said as they walked toward the entrance, "don't engage with him, don't make eye contact, let me do the talking." The Iron Compass members formed a loose perimeter around Maya, not aggressive, simply present. As they entered the courthouse, she saw Derek standing near the metal detectors with his attorney, a sharp-dressed man in an expensive suit. Derek's eyes locked onto Maya, then shifted to the bikers surrounding her. His expression flickered: surprise, calculation, anger. His attorney noticed the entourage and leaned in, whispering something. They passed through security without incident, though Maya felt Derek's gaze following her the entire time. In the hallway outside the courtroom, Elizabeth guided them to a bench away from the main flow of traffic. "He's trying to rattle you," she said quietly. "Classic intimidation. He's used to you being alone and vulnerable. The fact that you have support disrupts his power dynamic." Judge Patricia Holloway's courtroom was formal and austere, with dark wood paneling, and the seal of Oregon mounted behind the bench. Maya took her seat beside Elizabeth at the petitioner's table. Derek and his attorney, Michael Chen, no relation, sat across the aisle. The Iron Compass members filled the front row of the gallery, quiet and attentive. Judge Holloway was in her 60s, with silver hair and the air of someone who'd seen every courtroom game played. She reviewed the case file for a full minute before speaking. "This is a hearing on Ms. Chen's petition for an expanded restraining order and consideration of stalking charges against Mr. Hammond. Ms. Reyes, you may proceed." Elizabeth stood, composed and professional. "Your Honor, the petitioner has endured 6 months of systematic harassment and stalking by the respondent, despite an existing restraining order. We have extensive documentation showing a pattern of predatory behavior." She presented the case methodically. The timeline of incidents, the traffic camera footage from the night Maya fled to Marcus's motorcycle, the GPS data showing Derek's vehicle near Maya's locations on multiple occasions, witness statements from the Iron Compass members, economic impact analysis showing Maya's lost employment. Derek's attorney countered with the expected strategy. "Your Honor, Mr. Hammond maintains that these encounters were coincidental. My client lives and works in Portland. It's inevitable that paths might cross in a city of this size. 19 passes through a 6-block radius over 40 minutes is not coincidental," Elizabeth replied calmly. "That's hunting behavior. The traffic analysis shows deliberate search patterns." Judge Holloway studied the submitted evidence. "Mr. Chen, your client was previously warned about restraining order violations. Yet the evidence shows continued proximity to Ms. Chen's locations. How do you explain that?" "My client maintains his normal routines, Your Honor. He cannot be expected to completely alter his life based on where Ms. Chen might be." "He can absolutely be expected to stay away from locations specifically mentioned in the restraining order," Elizabeth interjected. "The current order specifies Ms. Chen's former workplace and former apartment. Yet Mr. Hammond appeared at the coffee shop where Ms. Chen now frequently meets friends, a location he has no prior history of visiting based on credit card records." Derek's attorney shifted uncomfortably. "We dispute the relevance." "Your Honor, may I call Marcus Reyes to testify?" Elizabeth asked. "Proceed." Marcus took the stand with quiet dignity. He explained the events of that rainy October night, finding Maya on his motorcycle, fleeing from Derek's circling vehicle, the decision to provide safe shelter. He described the Iron Compass MC's immediate coordination with law enforcement, their documentation protocols, their commitment to legal process. "Mr. Reyes," Elizabeth asked, "in your experience with community protection work, how would you characterize Mr. Hammond's behavior?" "Classic predatory stalking. He wasn't looking for someone. He was hunting a specific person, using systematic search patterns. I've seen it before working with domestic violence organizations. The only unusual thing was seeing it captured so clearly on traffic cameras." Derek's attorney cross-examined, trying to paint the club as vigilantes. But Marcus didn't take the bait. "We don't take justice into our own hands, sir. We document, we report, we coordinate with law enforcement, and we support survivors through legal processes. Everything we've done has been within legal bounds." Judge Holloway made notes throughout. When Maya took the stand to describe the 6 months of fear, the constant looking over her shoulder, the lost job, the disrupted life, the judge's expression remained neutral, but attentive. "Ms. Chen, why did you not report all these incidents to police?" "I did report them, Your Honor. The responses were that there wasn't enough evidence, or that Mr. Hammond's presence could be coincidental, or that unless he physically threatened me, there was nothing they could do. That changes today." Judge Holloway closed the file. "I've reviewed the evidence presented, and I find a clear pattern of stalking behavior that violates both the spirit and letter of the existing restraining order. Mr. Hammond, stand." Derek rose, his composure cracking slightly. "I'm expanding the restraining order to include a 500-foot distance at all times, electronic communication monitoring, and GPS tracking for 90 days. You are prohibited from the Montevilla district, from the coffee shops and establishments Ms. Chen frequents, and from any location where Iron Compass MC conducts business. Violation will result in immediate arrest and contempt charges." "Your Honor," Derek's attorney began, "that's overly restrictive. Your client has demonstrated he cannot comply with reasonable restrictions. These restrictions are now necessary. Furthermore, I'm referring this case to the district attorney for stalking charges. Bail is set at $50,000, and Mr. Hammond will surrender to custody immediately following this hearing." The gavel came down with finality. Maya felt the tension drain from her body all at once. Beside her, Elizabeth squeezed her hand. Behind them, she heard Carol's quiet, "Yes." Derek's face went pale, then flushed with anger. As bailiffs approached, he turned toward Maya, his mouth opening. But Marcus had already moved to stand between them, his presence calm but immovable. "Don't," Marcus said quietly. "You're already in enough trouble." In the hallway afterward, Maya found herself surrounded by the Iron Compass members. Carol hugged her. Jess gripped her shoulder. Tom nodded with satisfaction. "That judge didn't mess around," Ryan said. "Judge Holloway's good people," Elizabeth explained. "She sees through manipulation. The evidence was overwhelming. But it helped that she could see Maya had legitimate community support, not just legal representation." Marcus caught Maya's eye. "This is the first step. There'll be a trial on the stalking charges. He'll make bail eventually. But the GPS monitoring means we'll know if he violates. And next time there'll be no leniency." "I don't know how to thank you," Maya said, her voice breaking slightly. "You don't need to thank us." Marcus's expression was serious. "You asked for help, we gave it. That's what community means." As they walked out of the courthouse into the grey afternoon, Maya noticed Derek being led away in handcuffs, his expensive suit looking suddenly shabby. His attorney followed, already on the phone. The Iron Compass motorcycles were parked in formation near the entrance, a silent statement of presence and solidarity. As the members mounted up, Maya rode behind Jess this time, Marcus taking point position. The engines rumbled to life in sequence, a coordinated growl that echoed off the courthouse columns. They pulled out in tight formation, riding through downtown Portland with disciplined precision. Maya looked back once at the courthouse, its limestone facade already disappearing in the rearview mirror. That building had been a place of fear and frustration for weeks. Now it represented something else. Justice delivered through legal channels supported by community action, backed by people who understood that real strength meant having the discipline to do things right. Derek's game was over. The system he'd manipulated for 6 months had finally seen through his careful facade, thanks to documentation, legal expertise, and a community that refused to look away. And for the first time in half a year, Maya allowed herself to believe she was truly safe. Chapter 4. Moving Forward. 3 months later, winter had settled over Portland with typical drizzle and early darkness. Maya stood in the clubhouse kitchen, helping Carol prepare food for the Iron Compass MC's annual holiday party. Through the windows, she could see motorcycles lined up under the covered area, many more than usual, with visiting riders from other Oregon clubs. "Slice those onions thinner," Carol instructed, checking a slow cooker. "Jess is particular about her chili." Maya smiled, adjusting her technique. The clubhouse had become familiar territory over the past months. She'd gotten an apartment nearby. The club helped her move, provided references, and made sure the landlord understood there was community support if needed. She'd started a new remote job, rebuilt her savings, and slowly reclaimed the life Derek had disrupted. The stalking trial had resulted in conviction. Derek was serving 18 months, followed by 5 years probation with strict monitoring requirements. His financial analyst position was gone, his reputation damaged. The GPS tracking had recorded 3 attempted violations of the expanded restraining order before the trial, each one documented and added to the case. Elizabeth had been brilliant in court, presenting the evidence with methodical precision. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. "How's the new job going?" Carol asked, pulling Maya from her thoughts. "Really well. My supervisor is great, and working remote means I can control my environment. No unexpected encounters." "That's good, honey. You've come a long way." The front door opened, bringing a gust of cold air and the sound of more arriving motorcycles. Marcus entered with Jess and Tom, shaking rain from their jackets. "Roads are getting slick," Marcus announced. "Told the Bend chapter to take their time getting here. No rush worth crashing over." Maya noticed he moved with slight stiffness on his left side. She'd learned over the months that Marcus had been Army, served 2 tours, came back with injuries he rarely discussed. The club had been his recovery, his purpose. That's why community protection mattered so much to him. He understood what it meant to need support and have it actually show up. "Maya, you're still coming to the courthouse thing next week?" Jess asked, grabbing a soda from the fridge. "Wouldn't miss it." The courthouse thing was a presentation Elizabeth was giving to family court judges about improving restraining order enforcement. Maya had agreed to share her story, not for personal catharsis, but to help fix the system that had failed her and countless others. The Iron Compass MC would be there too, part of a panel on community-based survivor support. "Think the judges will listen?" Tom asked. "Some will." Marcus leaned against the counter. "The good ones already know the system has gaps. They need to hear how those gaps play out in real situations, and how community intervention can bridge them legally." Ryan arrived with his wife, Elena, both carrying boxes of decorations. "Party supplies as ordered. Where do you want them, Carol?" "Anywhere there's space. Maya, can you help with the lights?" As the afternoon turned to evening, the clubhouse filled with people. Iron Compass members, their families, friends from the community, visiting riders from allied clubs. The atmosphere was warm despite the cold rain outside. Conversation, laughter, the smell of food cooking, children running between adults. Maya found herself talking with Eleanor, who ran a non-profit supporting trafficking survivors. "The club helps us with transportation sometimes," Eleanor explained, "when survivors need to get to court hearings or appointments, but don't feel safe on public transit. Having riders escort them makes a huge difference." "That's what they did for me," Maya said. "Not just protection, but legitimate support through official channels." That's Marcus's philosophy. He says the club's job isn't to replace the system, it's to make sure people can access the system safely. Later, as Maya helped set out desserts, Marcus appeared beside her. "Got a minute?" They stepped into the relative quiet of Carol's office. Marcus pulled an envelope from his vest pocket. "Club voted on something last week. Wanted to talk to you about it." Maya felt her stomach tighten nervously. "Okay? You've been coming around for 3 months now, helping Carol, showing up for club events, contributing to the community. You understand what we're about, protection through legal means, supporting survivors, maintaining discipline." He paused. "We'd like to offer you a support member position." "What does that mean?" "Means you're officially part of the Iron Compass community. Not a riding member, that requires different commitments, but recognized as someone under club protection. Means if you need help, you call. Means you have voice in community decisions, means you're family." Maya's eyes stung unexpectedly. Yes, absolutely yes." Marcus smiled, one of his rare full smiles. "Good. We'll make it official at the New Year's meeting. Carol will explain the details." Back in the main room, the party was in full swing. Someone had started music, and kids were attempting to teach Tom how to dance, much to everyone's amusement. Jess was locked in intense conversation with riders from the Bend chapter about a charity ride they were planning. Maya accepted a plate of food from Ryan and found a spot on the couch beside Carol. "Marcus told you?" Carol asked quietly. "Yeah, I'm honored." "You've earned it. You didn't just accept help. You participated in your own recovery, worked with the legal system, and showed up for others. That's what community means." Maya looked around the room. 3 months ago, these people had been strangers. Now they were something else, chosen family, built on shared values and mutual support. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. "Proud of you, honey. Let me know when you're ready for us to visit." Her parents had struggled to understand everything at first. The stalking, the fear, the decision to accept help from a motorcycle club. But when they'd met Marcus and seen the clubhouse, seen the structure and discipline and genuine care, they'd understood. Her father, a retired police officer, had actually sat with Tom for an hour discussing documentation protocols and legal coordination. The party continued late into the evening. When visiting riders finally headed out, engines rumbling into the rainy darkness, Maya helped with cleanup. "You don't have to do that," Jess said, seeing Maya loading the dishwasher. "I want to. This is my community now." Marcus was the last to leave, doing his usual security check. Doors locked, lights off, alarm set. He found Maya putting away the last of the dishes. "Heading out? In a minute, just thinking." "About?" "About how 3 months ago I was terrified, alone, and convinced the system couldn't protect me. Now I have a job, an apartment, a support network, and I'm testifying to judges about how to fix the gaps I fell through." Marcus leaned against the doorframe. "You did that. We just provided the stability for you to rebuild. You provided more than stability. You provided hope and discipline. You showed me that real strength isn't about violence or intimidation. It's about having the patience and commitment to do things right, even when it's harder. That's the Iron Compass way, always has been. They walked out together into the cold December night. The parking lot was empty except for Marcus's Road King and Maya's modest sedan. "See you next week at the courthouse presentation?" Marcus asked, mounting his bike. "I'll be there." The Road King's engine rumbled to life, a sound Maya had learned meant safety and community. Marcus rode off into the rain, his taillight disappearing around the corner. Maya sat in her car for a moment, letting the heater warm up. The clubhouse lights were off now, but she could still feel its presence. A fortress of community, built on principles of protection, discipline, and legal action. Derek was in prison. The restraining order was permanent. The system that had failed her now had new protocols influenced by her testimony, and she had a community that would stand with her, not through violence or intimidation, but through the harder, more meaningful work of supporting survivors through legitimate channels. She started her car and headed home, driving through Portland's rainy streets with confidence she hadn't felt in over a year. Her apartment wasn't far, close enough to the clubhouse to feel secure, far enough to maintain independence. As she pulled into her parking spot, her phone buzzed with a group text to the Iron Compass community channel. "Marcus. Good party tonight. Thanks everyone who came. Next meeting January 3rd, 7 p.m. Maya's official welcome. Carol. Looking forward to it. Jess. About time we made it official. Tom. Someone teach her proper bike maintenance. Can't have support members who don't know basic mechanics. Ryan. Tom's offering lessons. Maya, you've been warned. Maya smiled, typing her response. I accept the challenge. Inside her apartment, her safe space, decorated how she wanted, without fear shadowing every corner, she made tea and settled on the couch. Through the window, Portland's lights sparkled in the rain. She thought about that desperate October night, soaking wet in a grocery store parking lot, fleeing from Derek's hunting vehicle. She'd grabbed a stranger's motorcycle helmet in pure panic, never imagining it would connect her to a community that would transform her life. The Iron Compass MC had given her more than protection. They'd shown her what real strength looked like, not fists or threats, but organization, discipline, legal knowledge, and unwavering community support. They'd taught her that justice didn't require vigilantism, that protection could work within the system when backed by people who refused to let the system fail. Derek had tried to control her through fear and isolation. The club had countered with community and empowerment. His psychological warfare had met something he couldn't manipulate: genuine solidarity, backed by meticulous documentation and legal expertise. The restraining order that had been nearly worthless was now ironclad. The police who had dismissed her reports now took violations seriously. The legal system that had seemed broken now had new protocols, and Maya herself had transformed from isolated victim to active community member, helping others navigate the same gaps she'd fallen through. She picked up her phone and scrolled through photos from the party: Carol laughing, Jess arm wrestling with Tom, Marcus in rare, relaxed conversation with the Ben chapter president. Her family now, chosen through shared experience and mutual respect. Outside, the rain continued its steady Portland rhythm, but inside, Maya felt warm, secure, and fundamentally changed. She'd learned that community wasn't just about receiving help. It was about participating in a network of mutual support that made everyone stronger. The Iron Compass MC had taught her that protection didn't require violence, that justice worked best through legal channels, and that real strength came from the discipline to do things right, even when shortcuts tempted. She'd slipped onto a motorcycle to escape her stalker, not knowing it belonged to a club president. That accident had saved her life and taught her what genuine community looked like. And now, 3 months later, she wasn't just safe, she was home,